Aesop Science presents Your Teenager is Not Defective. When you take into account that the teen years are a period of intense growth, not only physically but emotionally and intellectually, it's understandable that it's a time of confusion and upheaval for many families. Despite some negative perceptions adults may have about teens, they are often energetic, thoughtful, and idealistic, with a deep interest in what's fair and right. So although it can be a period of conflict between a parent and a child, the teen years are also a time to help kids grow into the distinct individuals they will become. Most importantly though, the teenage brain is always changing, and this may justify any odd impulses your child may have. The ability of the brain to change throughout a teen's life, in which strong emotions may appear or impulsive decisions may be present as a result, is referred to as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is most active in childhood as a part of normal human development and can also be seen as an especially important mechanism for children in terms of risk and resiliency. As an adult, you may think that the greatest years for your child's cognitive development may be as infants, and although this is true to some extent, cognitive development during adolescence is equally or perhaps even more important. Even though the frontal lobes are not fully developed during adolescence, there is another part of the brain that is fully active, and that is the limbic system. This is an intricate system of nerves and networks in the brain, involving several areas near the edge of the cortex concerning the instinct and mood. It controls the basic emotions such as fear, pleasure, and anger, and drives such as hunger, sex, dominance, and care of offspring. Additionally, there is another part of the brain that is responsible for controlling the way you behave. This is the hypothalamus, an area of the forebrain below the thalamus that coordinates both the autonomic nervous system and the activity of the pituitary, controlling body temperature, thirst, hunger, and other homeostatic systems, and involved in sleep and emotional activity. Most importantly though, the hypothalamus controls hormones. Teen hormones affect mood, emotions, and impulses, as well as bodily changes. The mood swings that teens experience are a result of fluctuations in estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, the sex hormone. Teens may also feel more rational and more inclined to take risks, like experimenting with drugs or alcohol, driving without a license, or having unsafe sex. According to a video conference by TEDx, a media organization that posts talks online, in the video titled Insight into the Teenage Brain, Adriana Galvan explains that when you receive something that you find rewarding, the striatum is very responsive, and it releases something called. The video proves that teenagers often do things if the outcome is significant. This is ultimately dependent on how their brains respond to rewards. When adolescents receive a satisfactory result or anticipate receiving it, their cognitive system and striatum recognize this to produce more of the same effect. These findings reinforce prior research establishing the correlation between a neural response to rewards and the choices that teenagers make, including risky choices and pleasure-seeking behavior. Simply put, dopamine is the creme de la creme of the brain's pleasure system, so greater dopamine activity could explain the pleasure-seeking behavior of teens. Functionally, the striatum coordinates several aspects of cognition, including motor and action planning, decision-making, motivation, reinforcement, and reward perception. The striatum is an essential part of the reward system, and together with the prefrontal lobe work together to make effective cognitive decisions and actions, though this can easily be influenced by the reward system and fluctuating hormones. This is why teenagers may seek more novelty with less regard for the outcome, and though this is a weakness, there is a positive to all of this. The brain is most flexible or plastic early in life to accommodate a wide range of environments and interactions. This becomes more difficult as you age, partly due to the fact that the brain becomes more specialized to assume more complex functions, and in turn, it is less capable of reorganizing and adapting to new or unexpected challenges. Advanced brain imaging studies have established that the teenage brain has lots of plasticity, which means it can change, adapt, and respond to its environment. The brain does not develop by getting significantly larger during the teenage years, but rather through increased connectivity between brain regions and synapses. This growth in connectivity presents itself as white matter in the brain, which mainly consists of nerve fibers and myelin sheets. As the brain develops, myelin sheets form along nerve axons of nerve cells. This process strengthens and accelerates the communication between brain regions and underlies a person's basic learning abilities. So now you know how the development of the brain during adolescence can impact teen behavior. But what else should you know? Well, we know that the teenage years can be difficult. So here are 5 tips for parenting during these years. Number 1. Form yourself. Read books or any other sources of information about teenagers. Reflect on your own teen years, and remember your difficulty coping with your body and any embarrassment from developing early or late. Expect some mood changes in your child. Be ready for more conflict as he or she matures into adulthood. Parents who know what to expect can cope with it better. The more you learn about your child, the better you can prepare. Number 2. Pick your battles. If your children want to go full emo, get a non-permanent tattoo, or wear jeans with patches, think twice before you object. Teens tend to want to surprise their parents, and it's a lot better to let them do something temporary and harmless. Make sure to save your objections for things that really matter, like tobacco, drugs, and alcohol, or even sex and permanent changes to their appearance. Number 3. Set expectations. Teens might complain or feel about the expectations their parents place on them. Despite this, they usually understand the need to realize that their parents care enough about them to expect certain things such as good grades, acceptable behavior, and sticking to the house rules. If parents have any reasonable expectations, teens will likely try to meet them. Without any expectations, your teen may feel like you don't care about him or her. Number 4. Know the warning signs. You can expect some odd behavior during the teen years, but drastic or long-lasting changes in personality or behavior may signal real trouble, the kind that needs professional help. Watch for warning signs such as extreme weight gain or loss, sleep problems, and rapid drastic changes in personality. Number 5. Respect your child's privacy. Some parents, understandably, have difficulty with this one. They feel that they have to supervise anything their kids do. But to help your teen become a young adult, you'll need to grant some privacy and freedom. If you notice warning signs of trouble, then you could read into your child's privacy until you get to the heart of the problem. But otherwise, it's a good idea to let them have their space. So, what does this all mean?
Okay, so adolescence is a time of substantial neurobiological and behavioral change, but this doesn't mean that the brain is defective, and there are reasons for these absurd impulses. The cognitive fluctuations that occur on behalf of selective elimination process, increased connectivity, and the integration of disparate brain functions have been highly adaptive in our past, and may be so in our future. Other factors that may contribute to these fluctuations include the changing reward system and prefrontal lobe, as well as accompanying behaviors that regard separation from family, increased risk-taking, and increased sensation-seeking. These changes and the enormous plasticity of the developing brain make adolescence a hazardous time, and simultaneously, a time of great opportunity. Enjoy your day, and as always, this has been Rod. Thank you for watching.